What happens if you can't find a buyer? Literally, one of the worst things that can happen. Super disheartening. You have a deal, you think you have all this money heading to your bank account, and nothing. Buyers aren't interested. You're not getting anywhere. What do? Here's what you do. And a lot of people fuck this up. The people that do give wholesaling a bad rep, and rightfully so, because there's people that'll make promises to a seller, say they're going to be able to move it for a certain price. The price doesn't make sense. And instead of coming clean with the seller and saying, hey, I either need a price reduction or I have to let this go, and letting the property go and letting the seller know as soon as possible, they drag it out to the last second. They keep trying to find a buyer, keep trying to find a buyer. They don't. Seller made plans to move, not able to move, and literally their whole life can be fucking uprooted. So it's awful when it happens. I always feel bad for people when I hear it happen. But that's why, transparency is the name of the game. And reach out. You use things like this community. Use our community. Reach out to people that are more experienced. And when you're getting feedback from buyers, make sure, one, you are getting feedback. If the buyers you're talking to are saying, no, I don't want it, it's not in my buy box, or what have you, ask, hey, I'm new. I'm just getting started here. It's a new market for me. I'm going to be doing a lot more marketing, and I don't have a ton of buyers. Can you do me a favor? Can you give me feedback on this deal? What do you think? I know you know the market, the area really well, Mr. Buyer. And they'll tell you, 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you, they'll appreciate your honesty, your transparency, and they're going to be like, hey, if I help this guy, they're going to keep bringing me deals. So when you find a good buyer and when you build that relationship, when you're honest and transparent, it's worth its weight in gold because it becomes a win-win scenario. But you did it, you exhausted it, you're well out, you're not gonna be able to move it. What I recommend doing is give yourself 2 weeks at the most, 10 days. I'd say 10 days is probably even, that's enough. You push it hard for a week, 10 days, and you're not getting anything. Everyone's telling you, they're not interested, or you can't find any buyers or whatever. That's when it's time to JV. There's no shame in JVing. A lot of people want to avoid it because, it's their first deal or because they don't know better and they're just like, I want to keep all the money, or they get greedy. And, some money is better than no money every time. And being able to do what you say you're going to do and operate with integrity is always better than not. So if you find yourself spinning the wheel in the mud, get a second opinion, talk with a more experienced wholesaler. Myself, my team, we're always looking to JV. We're always open to JVing. We'll take a look at your deal. Even if the numbers don't make sense, we'll tell you. We just ask to be open to feedback because some people get upset and take it personally. Put your ego aside and just focus on getting the deal done. I think that's what stops most deals is people let their ego get in the way. For me, if I'm in the deal, I'm going to do anything I can to get that thing to the finish line. Honestly, still operating with ethics, but I'm going to make sure I do whatever's in my power to get the deal done. One for the seller, for the buyer, for myself, done, just to keep it moving and grooving. So there's a lot of other things. We have resources and we have access to tools like Investor Lift, and we have a big buyers list. We have a lot of connections in different markets. We've been able to JV in 8 different states and a ton of different markets in those states. So if you have a deal, you're stuck, you're not sure what to do, or if you just don't even want to deal with a dispo. I know a lot of people that are very successful that only focus on finding the deals, only focus on acquisitions, and that's what they like. On the flip side, I know people who only do dispositions. They have all the buyers in that market. They know the buyers personally very well. They have relationships with them, and that's all they do. They just focus on dispo. And, honestly, it takes just as much time. Sometimes it's even harder, depending on the market, where it is, the conditions, the marketing conditions, and just the property in general. Like, it can be harder to dispo and find a buyer. So one thing a lot of people don't realize, like, hey, I found the deal, that's it. And then the cool thing about JVing, too, if you JV with someone more experienced, they're going to be able to help you renegotiate that deal. They're going to know creative options. I've had people bring me deals and it didn't work for cash, but we're able to flip it into a subject to deal, or we've done seller financing, novations, and just having someone who has those tools in their back pocket is huge because a lot of deals, that wouldn't have gotten anywhere, we're still able to help you get to the finish line and get paid. And a good JV partner, if you're not really good at dispo, they'll usually help you make more than you would if you dispoed it by yourself. So reach out to us. I'll drop a link or just shoot me a message if you have a deal for now. And yeah, happy to take a look at it. Happy to give you feedback. But just because you're spinning your wheels in the mud, don't quit on the deal. Don't let it go. without getting a second opinion. And two, just if it is a bad deal and you get feedback, it's a bad deal, let it go. Don't drag your feet with the seller. Worst thing you can do. It gives everybody a bad name, and honestly, you're just wasting your own time too. So that's it. That's all I got. Love to partner with you guys who want to do deals. If you guys have any questions, as always, reach out. We're here to help.